Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do. We have a fascinating subject today. It's virtual reality, and if you haven't heard about it, you're going to be amazed at what it is. And if you have heard about it, you're going to learn a lot about it. My guests today are two people who are highly qualified to talk about the subject. Paul Coppola is a specialist on virtual reality in the entertainment medium, and the place where it is now seen is at a great place called Sportime USA in Elmsford, and Jack Stahl, who is the person from Sportime, is here with us today. So, gentlemen, I'm glad we're in the real world to talk about virtual reality, and the question today is, what is this phenomenon called virtual reality? What's it all about?
Virtual reality is a new medium for introducing information. It allows us to see things that our computer renders for an environment that is different than our real environment.
Different in what way?
It allows us to explore chances that normally we wouldn't take, such as hang gliding or skydiving or anything like that. It allows for virtually any possibility.
How, Paul?
It's a computer-generated world. Virtual reality is a scenario where computers are rendering an environment that is synthetic to the outside world.
So actually you become part of the environment?
Yes.
You step into another world?
You're fully immersed.
You're fully immersed in another world.
Yes.
Of course, the place where it's taken off after its beginning is 10 or 12 years ago is in the entertainment world. Of course, that's how you're in the picture, Jack. At Sportime, you have games. Well, what is Sportime? Let's get into that for a minute.
Sportime is a family entertainment center, and we have games, as you say, and that's video games, high-tech video games. We have indoor baseball, miniature golf, an upscale billiard room. We do a lot of parties for kids. And I got to say, at the beginning of this year, when I really knew nothing about virtual reality, very little, I was getting phone calls from 10, 12-year-old kids saying, "Do you have virtual reality?"
How did they know about it?
I'd be damned. I don't know how they know about it, but they know about it. And,
yeah, I've seen a lot of articles in the newspapers lately. I know the Gannett newspapers ran a very interesting article about your setup, because are you the only place in this area that has a virtual reality game?
The only place in this area that has a day-to-day base for the VR.
And so it's obviously in everybody's consciousness, and it seems to me that I've read about it in the past in many other applications, but it seems to me that it's really been brought to the fore as an entertainment medium.
Yes.
Which people can participate. Before we get into some of the specifics, how old do you have to be to play the virtual reality game?
It's not a question of age, maybe a question of height, because the kids, as Paul explained, have to be able to do a little reaching to be effective. We've had them as young as 8 years old. And we've had them as old as 78 years old.
All right, now let's go through it now. Let's talk about what it's all about. What happens when you enter into the world of virtual reality? What do you do? How do you get into it?
The first thing would be to put on an HMD, which is a head-mounted display.
Let's bring it up here where everybody can see it. Now, this is a helmet.
A helmet, we like to call it a HMD, which is a head-mounted display, and that is the effect for full immersion within a computer-generated world. You lose sight and sound of the surroundings of the real world, and as you slip on this helmet, it allows you to see in a three-dimensional computer-generated world.
You just put it on. I suppose it's in a rack in front.
One of the attendants will help you put on the helmet, and as you put on the helmet, you will realize that there's a screen in front of you allowing for a visual delight, I'd say.
What is this? The screen is in the helmet?
Yes, there is a screen, and these helmets utilize a new technology, which is thin film transistors. For the reason being, it's more or less a TV strapped to your face about 4 inches away.
So you're looking at a TV screen.
Yes.
And you become involved with it.
It surrounds your whole peripheral vision, not allowing any light or sound via the stereo headphones, so that when you slip on the helmet, you're fully immersed within this environment which the computer is generating.
Now, in this game, Jack, how many people actually play the game?
There are two people that can play at one time. A person can play by himself or play along with someone else as a competitor.
You told me something the other day that I thought was very interesting. You said that for some reason women seem to get onto it much faster than men. Can you account for that?
I can't account for it, but they do. They seem to be much more flexible and adapting to the environment, and they're able to grab hold of the spatial relationships without any problem.
So you put on the helmet, and you're given a control,
A grip, which is your
grip,
interface with the virtual
and then
world.
you move yourself through this environment by doing what? There's some pointing of fingers that goes on.
When you have your helmet on and you're holding this grip, you will see a computer-generated animated arm along with your own hand, and you will point this as your directional within this virtual world. It allows for a very advanced tracking system that allows you to look in one direction and walk in another direction, similar to what we can do in the real world.
And as you move your arm forward, you move forward?
You move forward, and you will be able to interface or interact with a computer-generated world. If Jack and I were both in this virtual world, you would be able to talk to each other, signal in a nonverbal way by waving, and you are allowed to go anywhere, virtually in any direction. There's no preset destination. True VR doesn't allow for a preset destination.
So basically, what you do in this game is you enter a building.
Yes.
Some of the things that you can do and that are seen in this.
You're in an urban landscape or an intersection with several buildings around you, and you will enter in one building. It's a series of challenges to locate a crystal. You activate the crystal by...
It's like a push button.
Yes. And as you activate the crystal, that will become a transporter, and it bounces you up to the rooftop, where at that point you have the option of strapping on a hang glider and flying around the city and landing on targets to score points. And you can talk to your partner and discuss where he is or just where are you, and have fun that way.
There's one sequence that I found was fascinating, and that's where two hang gliders are involved. What is that all about, and how does it work?
That, I think, is more of a competitive mode to try and score as many points as possible by landing on bullseyes. It's skill related. The game allows for beginners and advanced people to enjoy it because it's all up to you. It's your decisions.
The other hang glider, not the one that you're operating, is controlled by the other person.
Oh, sure.
So it goes in whatever direction, and you can choose to follow it or go above it or go below it.
Oh, sure. The hang glider has no propulsion on it, and that is realized within this virtual world. So your skill of keeping the downdrafts of the virtual air of this city becomes a skill and manipulation to land and to score points or to follow your partner.
And I like some of the scenes where you actually, while you're in the hang glider and moving in one direction, you kind of look off to the side. You don't change the direction, but if you turn and look off the side, you can look down at the ground, you can look at cars passing by. And
Sure. That's unique about this one system. It allows for two trackers so that you can actually fly in one direction and rotate your head and look around the environment without changing the direction of your hang glider, so long as you keep your arm straight and you don't hit a virtual building.
Now, the pictures that you see, they're not photographic, are they?
No, they are computer rendered images.
Uh-huh. They had a sequence on the TV show Mad About You not too long ago where they did something with virtual reality, and it showed them as if that they actually were in that. That's not available today?
It's not the real McCoy.
It's not possible today?
Hollywood right now.
So it's not possible
Not
at
today,
all to have photographic?
no.
We're very close to it. Computer animation has made leaps and bounds in the last few years with the availability of faster computer chips and computer rendering devices. The photorealistic is right around the corner. VR right now is in its infancy. We're just scratching the surface. If a good comparison would be the way that video games changed from Pong to today's graphics. The original Pong game. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. Jack, I guess you're the expert.
Well, it's a
on
classic, and it advanced to a Pac-Man type of a game, and that advanced to the ultra-sophisticated video games that we have today.
Is it required at Sportime to constantly be changing the games because of new technology?
Absolutely.
What happens?
It's not only new technology, is that the people that play these games want to be fascinated constantly, and you have to give them something new to chew on, so that you have to be aware of what is coming out and what is going to come out in the near future.
It's more challenging because of what's available? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. When something comes out that's new, it's usually because the graphics are new, they're better, the sound environment is better, and some of the challenges become more sophisticated.
So there's constantly a constant replacement of what's going on. Just to get out of virtual reality. You do have a golf course.
We have a miniature golf, indoor golf course. We have indoor batting cages.
Oh, batting cage. Now, on a batting cage, that simulates, actually?
Well, that's the real thing. You're getting
real
pitched to, actually. This is something that little leagues will practice with, and coaches will take their teams to play.
So this is a real batting cage?
This is a real batting cage. This has nothing to do with computers.
How about golf? Isn't there a golf game where you, as if you're playing on a certain golf course?
We had it at one time.
We did have it.
It was called Party Computer Golf. And it was interesting for a while. I think what happened there is people said to themselves, hey, I'll try this once, but I know how to hit a golf ball, or I'm going to try to hit a golf ball. I want to see that ball go into the air. I want to get out to the driving range. So that's what I felt was happening.
So you find in your experience in providing games of all types for people to play that it has to stay current with what people are interested in. Of course, you can tell because if people are not playing it in great numbers, you know that something's wrong with it.
Very easy to tell just by counting the dollars or the tokens after each week of
what do you think is going to happen as far as these electronic games? Is virtual reality going to replace everything else?
I believe so. I believe the future is a virtual reality future with the thought of video games, and that's the way that all these games will enable you to interact with what you're seeing. The difference between virtual reality and the video game, the video game is programmed. The same thing is pretty much is going to happen, scene after scene.
Right.
But virtual reality, you are changing the scene every minute, every second of the play.
So we'll never do the same thing twice unless you do it exactly that way. You actually create what's happening in every case.
Sure.
Your own decision making allows for a different outcome. It's a new way of interfacing on the games. You're not limited anymore. There are other systems available that will have a preset destination, but true VR allows the person to explore any which way they want. And that is one of the draws. Children are amazed with this technology. They'll be growing up with this. They will be learning through this.
You think it's the thing of the future? I want to get into that a little bit, but at this point I just want to point out that we're talking about virtual reality today, and my guests are Paul Coppola and Jack Stahl, and virtual reality game is in existence today in Elmsford at Sportime USA. What caused this upsurge? How come virtual reality became a reality?
For me, it initially started as a pet project.
I wasn't talking about you specifically. We'll get to that in a moment. But it started out, why was it developed?
For a simulation, it allowed for particularly the military used it for a simulation purposes. It allowed their pilots to train in a combat situation without all the real life fears and dangers that were involved in it. And it was a training device initially. And as things became more complicated and the computer systems were allowed to enable a much more true rendering of a dangerous situation, this allowed for the computers to go in other directions, not just for training. It allowed for military of tank commanders and several other possibilities.
And there are other applications
Sure.
today, medical, architecture, design,
Yes.
and so many things. I read something not too long ago in the paper that someone at MIT had developed something where you put your fingers into two thimble-like gadgets and
Forced feedback for a VR simulation. It allows doctors to practice on a virtual person. If they have a complicated surgery, it allows them to practice the procedure and to rotate the image to see which way they would like to operate without putting the person on the table in direct danger. If they make a mistake, this allows them to make the mistake on a computer rather than on the individual.
Now, the direction of growth at the present time seems to be in the entertainment field, and what caused that? What brought about the development in the last several years?
I'd say there were two things that were the main thing that allowed VR to become commercially available. One was the aerospace industry, they became very defunct. They had this very sophisticated information and technology, and they ran out of applications for it. As the Cold War came to an end, we needed another avenue, and they found that entertainment, people were intrigued by this. It's fascinating, and a lot of people enjoy it. And this allowed for them to bring it towards a commercial venue, such as like a Sportime.
There's a tremendous market for it. You're talking about specialized uses of virtual reality. You talk about architecture, design, architectural design. Here we're talking about entertainment of the masses. And that goes from, as I said, 8 years old to...
Right on up.
Right on up.
You know, that interests me because when you read about the development of computers in non-business applications, the emphasis is all entertainment, games, and that seems to be the area in which it grows. And I suppose that funds the research for further developments if there's a market for it. It would seem that the future is unlimited as the technique develops.
Of course. People are waiting for things that they see on Star Trek, such as the holodeck. And with more interest in the VR, I think that within 10 years we will be there.
The interesting thing about it is that although we're showing some scenes of what is seen on the virtual reality game that you have, we really, it's different because we're seeing it two-dimensionally and not three-dimensionally. And though we can simulate what you see when you move your head, actually, it's not the same. Now, when you're standing there actually playing the game, you're actually on kind of a platform where you can turn around completely.
Right, you can rotate 360
degrees, and actually you will see on your screen exactly the opposite direction from which you're looking a moment before.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting to me also the fact that you can be moving in this direction and you can be looking in that direction.
In another direction, sure.
And I have to say that it really blows my mind. I really cannot conceive how anybody could do that. How could you get involved? And now I want to get back to how did you get involved? All of a sudden you're in the world of virtual reality.
Yeah, it started out as a pet project, and I did a lot of reading, and it was very intriguing. And I was a contractor before this, and this allowed for an avenue. I see tremendous growth in VR, and I want to be a part of it. That is how I initially got started with it, and as Jack saw the vision and allowed a young person to get established and break into a field that he saw that Westchester was an area that has no VR and allowed it to come to Elmsford.
It has other applications too, because I know that the business meetings, for example, it's great as entertainment, and it's also great in business applications.
Sure, it allows for logos to be pasted within a virtual world. So you get product identification with virtual reality, and in a sense of advertising, it's a tremendous tool because you're and fixed on the images within it. People are intrigued by it, and allows for masses from young generation to the older generation. And once you have that product identification, it's there for life.
And in sales meetings where the actual participants can actually put on the helmet and go through an environment, and that can be built for the particular company, I suppose.
Oh, sure. Yes. Cuddy Shark, I believe, developed their own software with that exact same scenario where you were manipulating in a virtual world that all had Cuddy Shark products on it.
You're talking about at meetings, because you can't certainly use it on standard television today because it's not that three-dimensional aspect.
For trade shows, it has a tremendous draw.
What I thought was great is the sequence that you have, and I don't know if it's available currently, but where you're actually sitting and driving on a car over a road and making the car turn. And what's the process? How is it done? I mean, does a programmer actually put all this in there? How does it happen? Don't get too technical.
Oh, yes. A program will set the parameters of a virtual racetrack scenario, and it allows you to manipulate it in any which way. There are certain parameters, I should say, that you can't go backwards on a racetrack or things like that. But it's for a true simulation of what it feels like to be on a race course.
Do you understand the technical aspect of it?
I'm beginning to learn more and more through the reading.
This car driving scene, your hand is on the wheel, and actually you point and you follow the road as you go along.
Sure. And as you can do in real life, as you're driving along virtually, you can also rotate your head and look outside the windows or up and through the sunroof.
You get caught for speeding?
No, there's no virtual police yet.
No virtual police. That will come in.
That will come, yes.
What's the future? We've talked a little bit about it. We've talked about great strides that have been made in the last decade. But what's the future, and how soon is it coming? Where do you see it? Where do you see it, Jack, from an entertainment viewpoint?
Well, as I said, the future in what I call video technology, anything that's on a monitor, is all in the hands of virtual reality, because people want to get into the game. Up to now, they're only at the game, controlling from the outside what's happening on the monitor. Now they're going to be able to be a participant in the action around them. So I see that, I can't say if it's going to be 2 years or 5 years, maybe you know better than I, but a place like mine, a center for these type of activities will be all concentrated on virtual reality. That's what I see.
How far off do you think it is in the future from what you see?
It's changing year by year, to be honest with you. Within 3 years to 5 years, we will be laughing at the systems that we're looking at today. These are going to be the infancy stages, as were the video games right past the pinball machines of the 50s and 60s.
Can you envision other applications aside from entertainment? We've talked about medicine, we've talked about architecture, we've talked about design. I suppose we can say that virtual reality has virtually no limits.
No limits.
What are its limitations? Is it the imagination?
The imagination.
The technology obviously exists to do anything with it. You talked about the photographic. What was the term that you used?
Photorealistic.
Photorealistic.
Quality.
And when you get to that,
you won't be able to decipher between a computer rendered image and videotape quality, and that is where we're moving towards. That will enable us to create scenarios that would seem so real that it can raise your heart rate, or allow for a training facility that would never be thought about. Put pilots in a much dangerous situation, or your driver's ed for children that are under 16. You will be virtually driving and having cars swerve at you, and old ladies trip on the sidewalk, and you have to do accident avoidance. That's where it will become its major purpose, will be in allowing us to explore possibilities without the real dangers. That is the true value of virtual reality today.
Talk about real dangers. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm sure that many of our viewers did. There was a wedding recently where this couple who had a virtual wedding. They actually did the wedding with helmets on and were in part of it. And then, of course, they had the real wedding. So I just wonder if that fits into that category of exploring the ceremony without the danger.
Without the true dangers.
And they, I believe the woman works in the field and felt that she wanted to do that, and that's the reason that they did it. So
it's very unique right now. Virtual reality is a buzzword. It's very different. It is just at the very beginning allowing us to go as far as the imagination will let us.
It's almost frightening, isn't it, that we can get into an environment that is so completely beyond our concept. You know, they talk about computers taking over our lives, and I don't think that virtual reality will take over our lives, but I do feel that we will be able to participate in things. You can go all over the world without leaving home, in a sense that you've never been able to do that before.
Yeah, true.
We're astounded by it, but the young people are expecting it, you know.
Children will grow
What do you
up
mean
with
that they're
this.
expecting it?
Well, they're so into the field of science, technology, virtual reality to this point, that they're looking for these things to happen very quickly. And what seems limitless to us, or impossible, I should say, to us, seems just around the corner to them.
Because so many things have happened in their world as opposed to the world in which the changes did not happen so fast. They are only limited by their imagination, and they expect everything to happen.
Sure, that's fast.
That's a wonderful thought. I think if we look back and think about 15 years ago when virtual reality didn't exist, and now look to what it is, who could have envisioned that this would have happened? It's astounding that all this has happened. It is the world of tomorrow.
It is the world of tomorrow.
Wasn't that the theme of a World's Fair? And the world of tomorrow didn't quite happen. Well, the virtual reality of this program is that we've run out of time. And so I thank you both for being here today and
Thank you.
joining me. You've certainly explored this subject with us in great length. And my guests today have been Jack Stahl and Paul Coppola, and we've talked about virtual reality, and we've talked about the fact that you can play the game at Sportime in Elmsford. I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. Until next time, enjoy yourself.